Jurassic World 3, that's Jurassic World Dominion, officially, is finally arriving to theaters in 2022. That might seem a way off, but there are tons of information about the Dino-packed sequel out there, from pictures of the creatures in question to quotes from director Colin Trevorrow and the cast, and even a preview of some footage from the movie. We've rounded up absolutely everything there is to know about the threequel in this video, with a rundown on what dinosaurs we'll be seeing, what's going on in that IMAX preview, and who's who in the cast. Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard are back in the third movie, and they'll be joined by some familiar faces from the original film, Laura Dern, Sam Neill, and Jeff Goldblum. We've also got the lowdown on how much screen time the returning trio will have, and that's barely scratching the surface of our ultimate guide to the movie, so watch till the end to get completely up to speed on all things Jurassic World 3. With coronavirus holding back big screen debuts everywhere, the Jurassic World 3 Dominion release date has been similarly affected. The movie's now set for June 10, 2022, a year after its original release of June 11, 2021. In July 2020, the movie became one of the first Hollywood blockbusters to make it back in front of the cameras. Reports indicated that, to get Jurassic World 3 Dominion filming again, the cast and crew all had to isolate within the same hotel complex for a number of weeks, with Jeff Goldblum bringing along his wife and children to isolate with them. Apparently, a whole team would play frisbee every Sunday, and, thanks to Twitter, we've seen Goldblum and Sam Neill enjoying some jazz sessions together. Not a bad way to spend a few weeks. Producer Frank Marshall revealed that, to keep everything secure, director Colin Trevorrow even had to rework certain scenes. And I quote, "We were supposed to go to Malta with the main unit, and the week before, they had a surge there. Our second unit was already there. Colin is pretty fast on his feet, and he rewrote and rejigged a couple of sets with our crack production design unit. And we reconfigured a big set that we have on the Bond stage at the Pinewood Studios to keep telling the story. And then the second unit was there and actually shooting some wide establishing shots and transition pieces that Colin worked with Dan Bradley on, the second unit director. And so we made it work," he said. Now, the question you may be asking yourself is, are there any teasers for Jurassic World 3 Dominion? It's still a little early for a bona fide Jurassic World 3 Dominion trailer, but we've got something that's arguably even better, a dinosaur-packed 10-minute short that helps bridge the gap between Fallen Kingdom and the new movie. Battle at Big Rock is set in Northern California, a year after the dinosaurs were set loose at the Lockwood Mansion. It shows a vacationing family getting caught in the middle of a scrap between a carnivorous Allosaurus and a family of plant-eating Pseudoceratops, hiding from the carnage in their RV. Just as interesting as the central plot, however, are the hints at how the world has changed. News reports mention sightings of baby dinosaurs, suggesting they're breeding in the wild, while there's talk of adapting to a new normal. The short was released months before new normal became part of everyday conversation. There's also a few tantalizing mid-credit scenes, a pack of tiny Compsognathus chasing a little girl, a close encounter with a Stegosaurus causing a car accident, a Parasaurolophus drinking by the side of a river, a spectacular shot of a shark leaping out of the water to eat a seal being topped by a mosasaur eating the shark, and a pteranodon swooping out of the sky to catch a dove released at a wedding. The world of Jurassic World Dominion is clearly going to be very different to what we've seen before. Now, ahead of Jurassic World Dominion's release, some preview footage played in front of Fast and Furious 9 at the IMAX. The new scene reveals what Earth looked like long before humans existed and tell the origin story of how dinosaur DNA first came to be carried by a mythic mosquito, according to Universal, the studio behind the movie. The clip has since been released online. As this is an origin story, the dinosaurs have feathers. The new movie includes up-to-date scientific evidence unearthed since the first movie, to hopefully appease fans upset at the inaccuracy of dinosaurs without feathers. Seeing as how Jurassic World Dominion will kick off before humans entered the picture, it makes sense, narratively speaking, that these creatures are the real deal. And I quote, "Ever since I was a kid, I have wanted to see dinosaurs in their natural habitat," Trevorrow said in a statement about the extended preview. And I quote, "It may have taken a few decades, but with a little help from ILM, Universal and Amblin, it has finally happened. This preview is just a glimpse of the film we've made. It's an epic celebration of everything Steven Spielberg and Michael Crichton created, and I can't wait to share it with the world next summer, he said. The clip takes us back in time to a world ruled by dinosaurs. There are all kinds of creatures to spot, including an adorable-looking baby dino and a roaring T-Rex, both complete with that dusting of feathers. There's also that all-important mosquito guzzling from the T-Rex. Flash forward 65 million years, and we see the consequences of that moment in action. A T-Rex is roaming about in the modern day, terrorizing a drive-in movie theater while a helicopter chases after it. Here's hoping the dinos stay on the screen this summer. Trevorrow talked to Screen Rant about the preview. This Cretaceous sequence you're seeing is the thing I was most excited about. So the fact that people get to go see this right now at IMAX is pretty thrilling for me. I'm really fired up about it. And I'm grateful that Universal and everybody were down with doing it, because it's not just like we're showing the first 5 minutes, we're showing a pretty major piece of what we're doing. Regarding Jurassic World Dominion's cast, it's got pretty much everybody in it, star Chris Pratt said on The Ellen Show. It's going to feel very much like how Endgame brought everything together in Marvel. He wasn't exaggerating. As well as bringing back the key surviving players from the recent movies, the Jurassic World Dominion cast is also reuniting the stars of Steven Spielberg's original 1993 dino romp, Jurassic Park. It was always inevitable that franchise mainstays Pratt, who plays animal behaviorist/velociraptor trainer Owen Grady, and Bryce Dallas Howard, the Jurassic World manager turned dino activist Claire Dearing, would be back in action. But we also know they'll be joined by Isabella Sermon as Maisie Lockwood, the little girl they rescued in the final act of Fallen Kingdom. In fact, Trevorrow's already tweeted a photo of Sermon on set. It's also no surprise that we'll be seeing more of Dr. Henry Wu, the original Jurassic Park geneticist who's become a major player in the new trilogy. He even cameos in animated Netflix spin-off Camp Cretaceous, which alludes to his morally suspect approach to creating dinosaurs. Actor BD Wong confirmed he's part of the Jurassic World Dominion cast in an interview with Entertainment Weekly way back in February 2020. A couple of Claire's Dinosaur Protection Group colleagues reprise their Fallen Kingdom roles in the new movie, Daniella Pineda as paleo-veterinarian Zia Rodriguez and Justice Smith as computer expert Franklin Webb. And there are probably returns for a pair of characters from Jurassic World who sat out its sequel. The Hollywood Reporter confirmed back in February 2020 that Omar Sy and Jake Johnson would be reprising their roles as Grady's raptor training partner Barry Simban and theme park control room operator Laurie Crothers, respectively. Though has reported that Johnson's appearance may now be in doubt, thanks to scheduling issues. I was getting ready to go out and then this pandemic hit and so everything got pushed, and the schedule got rearranged, Johnson said in mid-August 2020. We are figuring out the scheduling and how and if we can make it work. Franchise newcomers Mamoudou Athie, DeWanda Wise, Dichen Lachman, and Scott Haze will take on as yet undisclosed roles, but the most intriguing new arrival is Campbell Scott. According to Entertainment Weekly, the single Roger Dodger star will play Lewis Dodson, whose name may be familiar to fans of Michael Crichton's Jurassic Park novel and the original movie. Dodson, played by Cameron Thor in Jurassic Park, was the rival businessman who paid rogue IT guy Dennis Nedry to steal embryos in a can of shaving foam. Seeing as villains in this franchise have a habit of getting themselves eaten, it seems a good bet that Dodson, reportedly now the CEO of genetics company Biosyn, perennial rivals of Jurassic Park world owners in Gen, could be the big bad this time out. In fact, Trevorrow has pretty much confirmed he's the bad guy. He is the main villain throughout both of Crichton's novels, and I think what Campbell's done with the character is just amazing, Trevorrow told Entertainment Weekly. I can't wait for people to see it. The biggest news about the Jurassic World 3 Dominion cast, however, is undoubtedly the return of original Jurassic Park stars Sam Neill, as paleontologist Dr. Alan Grant, Laura Dern, as paleobotanist Dr. Ellie Sattler, and Jeff Goldblum, as chaotician Dr. Ian Malcolm. They've all walked with dinosaurs again, Dern and Neill in Jurassic Park 3, Goldblum in The Lost World Jurassic Park and Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, but this is the first time the trio have all been reunited on screen. And unlike the glorified Goldblum cameos that bookended Fallen Kingdom, they will have substantial screen time. We are all the way through the film, Jeff, and me, and Laura, Neill told Yahoo Movies, though he did admit that, I probably won't be running quite as fast as I was 27 years ago. At a roundtable in which Games Radar Plus was present, Colin Trevorrow even said, I think people may be underestimating the size and importance of Laura Dern and Sam Neill and Jeff Goldblum's characters in this movie. It is very much an ensemble. He was even clearer in conversation with our sister publication, Total Film. Laura, Sam, and Jeff have as much screen time in the film as Bryce and Chris do, he explained. They're not together the entire time, but we are following both of their stories equally, and you have a sense that they're going to collide at a certain point. There's this tension. It's not structured necessarily in a way that we're used to seeing our Hollywood movies structured. But it works. The trio could also be joined by another veteran of the original movie. Joe Mazzello played Dino-obsessed kid Tim Murphy in Jurassic Park and The Lost World Jurassic Park, and got fans speculating in February when he tweeted, I think it's time to get back to work. What do you say, gang? The timing checks out with other announcements about the movie, but we're still waiting on official confirmation. It'll be interesting to see if Tim got to live out his dream of becoming a paleontologist. And perhaps most importantly of all, Sam Neill has confirmed that Dr. Grant's hat is definitely making a return. Okay, it's not Indiana Jones's fedora, but we do love an iconic piece of headwear. It's also worth noting that you should expect something a little different in the new Jurassic World movie. Director Colin Trevorrow told Collider that the movie won't strictly follow traditional screenplay structure with one main character, where everybody knows what happens on page 12. Instead, the film focuses on two sets of characters, Bryce Dallas Howard and Chris Pratt, and Sam Neill, Laura Dern, and Jeff Goldblum, and is telling two parallel stories that are just driving closer and closer together, and you understand that, and you start to understand how they're going to intersect, and then they do. But that's not a traditional way to structure a movie. Trevorrow also said he wants to ensure he's not shortchanging anybody. Laura and Sam and Jeff are just as big a part of the movie as Chris and Bryce are, as far as screen time, as far as their importance to the story, everything. Now, let's talk about Jurassic World Dominion's plot. There might not be a trailer yet to clue us in on Jurassic World 3's plot, but some footage of the movie did debut at CinemaCon, which gives us a bit of an idea about what to expect. The clip reportedly included Laura Dern, Sam Neill, and Jeff Goldblum, and saw Chris Pratt's Owen chased by velociraptors, and riding a dinosaur. It's also said to have shown Dern's Ellie trying to break out of a dinosaur crate, and the original trio interacting with Owen and Bryce Dallas Howard's Claire. Plus, director Colin Trevorrow gave a hint about the movie's themes at the convention. The movie will ask the question, if dinosaurs lived amongst us, would you be safe? He said. And the answer is no. It seems this will be another action-packed installment in the franchise, then. In a recent interview with EU, Trevorrow also teased how the movie might tie all the Jurassic movies together. To me, Dominion is a culmination of one story that's been told, he said. He explained that, though the original Jurassic Park trilogy seemed more scattergun in its approach, Dominion is going to retroactively tie them together as one cohesive story. When you got to the end of the Jurassic Park trilogy, it may not have been as clear in what the complete story of those three movies was because they were a bit more episodic in the way that they were approached. When you watch Dominion, you really feel like you are learning how much of a story that first set of movies was and how everything that happened in those movies actually informs what ultimately is able to happen in this. While Jurassic World shared much of its theme park goes wrong structure with the original Jurassic Park, albeit on a bigger scale, Fallen Kingdom made sure that the franchise is now in a very different place. Isla Nublar, the site of the park, has now been destroyed by a volcano, while dozens of dinosaurs have now been set free to roam in Northern California. The island's blown up, the animals are out, we can't put them back in the box, what are we gonna do? Said Chris Pratt in an interview with MTV News. How are, not only these dinosaurs, but this technology moving forward going to affect the planet? We jump forwards, and it's like, oh right, oh damn. That time jump will presumably have given the dinos time to get a foothold in the USA, as hinted in Battle at Big Rock. Trevorrow explained more about the timeline to Screen Rant. Everything in my mind has always been pretty much present day. So Big Rock took place a year or so after Fallen Kingdom in 2019, when it came out, and the T-Rex has just been out in the Sierra Nevada forest where they all escaped to. It's absolutely massive, it's a whole section of the state. And so she's just been living in there, they've been struggling to catch her for a very long time. So this is about 4 years later, it's when the movie comes out, so 2022. It's also likely that, in the time skip, Owen and Claire will have formed a surrogate family with young Maisie Lockwood, revealed to be a clone of Jurassic Park co-founder Sir Benjamin Lockwood's late daughter. Lockwood's decision to replicate an actual human will surely have huge ramifications for the Jurassic World 3 Dominion plot. Indeed, Trevorrow told Entertainment Weekly that the new movie will be a science thriller. If I could contextualize each film, he said, I would say Jurassic World was an action-adventure, Fallen Kingdom is kind of a horror suspense film, and Jurassic World 3 will be a science thriller in the same way that Jurassic Park was. We're guessing that Lewis Dodson's Biosyn outfit will be involved in that side of the story somehow, whether he's taking an interest in cloning dinosaurs or people. Perhaps we'll also get an answer to the question of whether Eli Mills, the businessman who betrayed Lockwood in Fallen Kingdom, was getting outside help. Who knows, maybe Dodson will also be taking a trip to Isla Sorna, the Site B dinosaur breeding ground that was the main location for the Lost World Jurassic Park and Jurassic Park 3. Seeing as it could be an easy instant source of new dinos, it's strange that it's yet to feature in the Jurassic World trilogy, especially as Trevorrow's usually keen to mine the franchise's backstory. Just think of the prehistoric monstrosities Wu could have created away from public view. One thing we won't be seeing, however, is dinosaurs doing a Godzilla and trashing big cities. I just have no idea what would motivate dinosaurs to terrorize a city, Trevorrow told Birth Movies Death. They can't organize. Right now we've got lethal predators in wild areas surrounding cities all over the world. They don't go pack hunting for humans in urban areas. The world I get excited about is the one where it's possible that a dinosaur might run out in front of your car on a foggy back road, or invade your campground looking for food. A world where dinosaur interaction is unlikely but possible, the same way we watch out for bears or sharks. We hunt animals, we traffic them, we herd them, we breed them, we invade their territory and pay the price, but we don't go to war with them. If that was the case, we'd have lost that war a long time ago. Crucially, it seems that the Jurassic World Dominion plot is going to tie up the 6-film arc that Steven Spielberg started in 1993. In terms of the third movie, the goal overall is to bring the entire saga together, Bryce Dallas Howard told CinemaBlend. It'll be the 6th film at the end of the day. Though it won't necessarily be the end of the Jurassic Park world universe. When Collider asked the franchise's longtime producer Frank Marshall if Jurassic World 3 Dominion would be the end of the series, he answered with a decisive no. It's the start of a new era, Marshall continued. The dinosaurs are now on the mainland amongst us, and they will be for quite some time, I hope. Now let's talk about what we know about the Jurassic World Dominion's non-human stars, aka dinosaurs. Yes, the human cast members are important, but everybody knows the real stars of the franchise are toothier, scalier and generally scarier. It seems that the roster of Jurassic World Dominion will be expanding on what we've seen before. In an interview with Insider, Jeff Goldblum said, "The first thing that we shot. It was a scene with me and Laura and Sam Neill and I can't tell you much, but we were all day in a very tight, enclosed space. You'll see, it's a mystery you'll solve when you see the movie. The 3 of us were in a tiny little space, and we were being menaced by, I can't even tell you, a surprising faction of prehistoric creatures that you've never seen before. The big question is, are they dinosaurs lifted from the fossil record? The fact that Trevorrow announced on Twitter that Edinburgh University paleontologist Steve Brusatte has been brought on to the consulting for the film suggests they're looking for a degree of scientific accuracy. Or are they new dinosaurs created in the lab, such as the Indominus Rex and Indoraptor that caused so much carnage in Jurassic World and Fallen Kingdom? Apparently not. Trevorrow revealed to Screen Rant that there are no hybrids in this movie, which means all the dinos involved have walked the earth at some point. I really wanted to focus on dinosaurs that really existed. That's what made me fall in love with this franchise in the first place. Real dinosaurs are awesome. They don't need to be hybrids to be awesome, he added. He also said that we can expect to see the Giganotosaurus again, after it showed up in the IMAX preview. The Giganotosaurus, as you can imagine, I wouldn't do the audience like that by just showing the Giganotosaurus taking out the T-Rex and never seeing it again. So that's going to be a major player going forward. It's a pretty badass dinosaur, that thing. While we don't know the Jurassic World 3 Dominion dinosaurs' identities, we do know that a lot of them will be created with animatronics rather than CG, more so than on the previous Jurassic movies. We've actually gone more practical with every Jurassic movie we've made since the first one, and we've made more animatronics in this one than we have in the previous two, Trevorrow said on Collider's Comic-Con at Home panel. We finally reached a point where it's possible too. Digital extensions on animatronics will be able to match the texture and the level of fidelity that, on film, an animatronic is going to be able to bring. And you didn't used to be able to really mix them. You could really see the seams. And so that part of it is very exciting for me. Fallen Kingdom director, J.A. Bayona he found the value in creating really photoreal, just beautiful lighting references that could be articulated just slightly. Just a head and a jaw that could move, but painted beautifully, hand-painted. And we do it for all of the dinosaurs now, so when we put it into a space, you can see how the light reacts to the skin. And even if they ultimately do make that a digital animal, there was always something there reacting to the light in that environment. And that's a wrap on what we know about Jurassic World Dominion. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below letting us know what you think about Jurassic World Dominion from what you've heard so far.